Halloween is America's fastest growing holiday that brings in an average of $6 billion annually, accounting for all the decorations, food, and costumes. My purpose today is to inform you of the tradition of Halloween, the history of it, and other religious celebrations that are similar to the Halloween. Before I discuss the traditions of Halloween today, the history of the celebration is an important part of understanding how the holiday is celebrated today. Halloween has ancient origins dating back to the ancient Celtic festival of Samhain. Was celebrated 2,000 years ago in the area that is now Ireland, the United Kingdom, and northern France, where they celebrated their new year on November 1st. This day was the marker of the end of their summer and harvest season and the beginning of their winter time, which was commonly associated with the theme of death. The Celts believed that on the night prior to their new year, or October 31st, the boundary between the worlds of the living and dead became blurred. On this evening, they believed that the ghosts of the dead returned to the earth. On this night, the Celtic priests were believed to have improved abilities to make predictions about the future. To commerce the festival, the Celtic priests built huge sacred bonfires where the people gathered to burn their crops and animals as sacrifices to the Celtic spirits. The community of Celts wore costumes during the celebration that typically consisted of animal heads and skins. In the second half of the 19th century, large amounts of immigrants moved to America to start a new life. Most of these immigrants consisted of Irish citizens who were fleeing Ireland's potato famine, who helped popularize the celebration of Halloween nationally. Taking bits and pieces from both Irish and English traditions, Americans began to individualize the celebration. They began to dress up in costumes and go to houses of those in the community asking for food or money. The celebration continued to develop into a holiday more about community gatherings than about ghost pranks and witchcraft. Parties for both children and adults were held in the community. They focused on games, foods of the season, and festive costumes. By the 1920s, parades and town-wide celebrations were introduced to celebrate the holiday. Halloween today is an evolution of these celebrations that have been occurring for the past 2,000 years. Halloween today is celebrated commonly by all on October 31st. However, there are typically celebrations that occur throughout the entire week leading up to and after the 31st. The celebration is known for trick-or-treating, which is commonly practiced by children of all ages ranging up to age 16 who are dressed up in costume, who travel from house to house in their community asking for candy or treats from their neighbors. They most commonly ask the owner of the house trick or treat, and the house owners then provide some sort of treat or candy to the child. The costumes were traditionally modeled after supernatural figures such as vampires, witches, devils, ghosts, and skeletons. However, over time, the costumes have extended to include more popular fictional characters, celebrities, or other popular societal themes. Pumpkin carving or jack-o'-lanterns are another common decoration for the celebration today. It includes going and purchasing a pumpkin of one's choice. Some prefer the more picturesque pumpkin, while others prefer the more quirky or misshapen pumpkin. They then empty the contents of the pumpkin and carve a facial expression or design in the front side of the pumpkin. These pumpkins are then displayed on the front porch or front yard of all the homeowners. Here in Rhode Island, there is a jack-o'-lantern spectacular held at Roger Williams Park, where artists design and carve thousands of pumpkins, and then they are put on display in the park for the general public to come and view for the entire week of the Halloween celebration. Other attractions that happen during the Halloween are haunted hayrides or houses, where people dress up in scary attire and scare those who dare to enter. Although this holiday is a highly commercialized one, there are other religious holidays that occur within the same time frame as Halloween. One of these such days is the Day of the Dead, or Los Dios de los Muertos, which is an annual festival that is celebrated by typically Mexican and other Latin American countries. However, anyone who is of Hispanic descent will most likely celebrate it. It occurs on November 1st and 2nd and is a celebration of the dead that is filled with joy and humor rather than mourning. The family graves are cleaned and decorated, and home altars are embellished with offerings such as candles, foods, photos, and flowers of the person. Special breads and sugar skulls are baked and consumed, and a variety of everyday activities that commemorate the day and the person are celebrated. Another religious holiday is All Saints' Day, which is celebrated on November 1st and is dedicated to all the saints of the church that have attained heaven. It was established by Pope Gregory III in the mid-8th century as a day dedicated to all of these saints and their relics. It is now today celebrated by typically attending a mass and or just by praying to these saints. The Day of the Dead and All Saints' Day are similar celebrations that are commonly celebrated throughout America along with Halloween. In conclusion, the history of Halloween, ranging from the Celtic era to the arrival of the celebration on American soil, has evolved into the holiday that we celebrate here today. Throughout my life, Halloween has been an important holiday, not only because it is my birthday, but because I get to spend time with my family, decorating the house, carving pumpkins, making costumes, and other such activities. It will always be positively remembered in my life. Thank you.